Hey, church, Luke here, pastor of community engagement. As you know, next Saturday, September 30th, is National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. And as Jesus people, those two words, truth and reconciliation, they're fundamental words to the gospel. Jesus calls us to be in the ministry of truth and reconciliation, whether that is in relationship with our Indigenous community, whether that's with family members, whether that's with church family, any sort of relationship in your life. As Christians, you're called to be an ambassador of truth and reconciliation. So today I'm joined with my new friend, Yvette. Thank you for being here, Yvette. And she has been coming to our church for 9 years now. She's a high school teacher in the Lethbridge School Division, and she's a member of the Lethbridge Métis Council. So Yvette, why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about your background and story?
Yeah. So my name is Yvette Lowen. My husband is Mark Lowen, and we have 3 kids, Peter, Robert, and Leah. September 30th is the nationally recognized Day for Truth and Reconciliation with Indigenous groups in Canada. I'm Métis, and you might have heard the acronym FNMI, which stands for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people, who are the recognized Indigenous groups in Canada. Métis means mixed, so I have First Nations relatives who married French Europeans, and together they make the Métis people. And many Métis people have roots in the historic Red River settlement in Manitoba. So I always knew I was Métis growing up, but I never really had the opportunity to learn my culture. Many Métis people found it easier to give up their culture and assimilate due to discrimination and fear of having their children taken from them through the residential school system and the 60s scoop. This hidden generation never told their children who they were, creating a lost generation, which my dad was a part of. What is happening now is that my generation is connecting to a lost culture. We are figuring out all the wonderful things that make us Métis, and this is not just my story, but the story of so many others. So in this journey, we have decided to raise our kids with parts of their identity that almost got erased. I serve as a council member on our local Métis board, and I help others learn about what it means to be Métis.
Love it, love it. So I guess, Yvette, as we anticipate September 30th, why do you think it is important for us as the church, as the people of God, to really care and get involved and engage days like Truth and Reconciliation Day?
Yeah, so some church members might be thinking, like, what does this have to do with church? Or it wasn't me that caused this harm specifically. And you're right. But I suppose my answer to these questions would be that we are all part of cultural and societal systems that continue to discriminate and oppress Indigenous groups in our community. And we all have a role to play to stand up to injustices. So the day is just a day.
Yes, that's right. Just
yes.
a day.
But truth and reconciliation need to happen all year long.
Yes, amen.
And so I started to think about our church's mission, which is to build bridges into our community because God has built a bridge of love to us. So I would challenge you with how are you doing at building that bridge? And are you building that bridge outside of your comfort zone? So in order to build bridges like we're trying to do in our church, we need to know our community and who's in it. And we have Blackfoot people, Métis people, and other Indigenous people here in Lethbridge and the surrounding areas. So do you know what happened, and do you really know the history and the truth? We have to know the truth before reconciliation can happen. And I would say that many people are still learning the truth, and that's okay. So from whom have you learned about Indigenous culture and ways from? We might have to do some unlearning here if we are merely just talking to friends outside of our Indigenous communities.
And I think, Yvette, you kind of hit on it here, that I think lots of people want to get involved, but they don't want to hurt or cause more harm.
Yeah.
So they're not sure how. How do I begin this process? How do I engage? What would be some practical steps that we could take?
Yeah, so I know that churches are full of people ready to help and take things on, and that is what makes this place so great. And so as we take the time to understand what truth and reconciliation means, I would first suggest that we need to be comfortable being and engaging with the uncomfortable. So people have experienced direct or indirect intergenerational trauma from people who have identified as Christians, and many may be reluctant to receiving help from members of a church. So here I hope we can examine how we engage appropriately, and I would suggest putting your energy into listening and truly learning. So you can show up at city events like we're having a powwow on September 30th at the Exhibition Center at 1 o'clock. And if you're not quite there yet, I urge you to listen and learn in other ways. So you can look up and read the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action. You can watch documentaries, listen to survivors on podcasts, or read a book by an Indigenous author. So I guess lastly, I would just like to teach you a Blackfoot word. Maybe Luke can try it out. And I think that
I can barely speak English.
I think that it does sum up what our response should be as we build these bridges into our communities. So I am not Blackfoot, but I have learned this word through my school, and so I'm going to do my best with it as well. And it is Gima Bibitsin.
Gima Mibitsin.
Bibitsin.
Bibitsin.
Yes, which means to give empathy.
Okay, give empathy.
Give empathy. And so let's do the learning so we can build those bridges with empathy, having committed to that learning process.
Love it.